Hey everyone, this is Simon from HighCohesion. In this brief video, we will look into how HighCohesion handles webhooks. And for those of you who are not yet familiarized with webhooks, a webhook is essentially an automated message being sent from an application when a specific event occurs. For example, order data get automatically sent as a message from an e-commerce store when an order is created. So that is just one example. And this is highly beneficial in integration when you're looking to do close to real-time integrations. So for example, if you want to integrate Shopify orders with your ERP system, then you're very likely to go for a webhook approach in, for example, Shopify, where each time someone places an order in Shopify, that automatically gets a message automatically gets sent from Shopify, consumed by HighCohesion, and then posted to the ERP. At HighCohesion, we have two different types of webhooks: static webhook and dynamic webhook. We're going to start off with looking a little bit closer into the static webhook. So when would you use a static webhook? Well, you would use it for source systems where the webhook data is the same as the data that you actually want to send to the destination system. So one example of a source system that supports this would be Shopify, because in Shopify, using their webhooks, you basically, on, for example, order creation, you get the full order as part of that message that is being received from Shopify. So how does this work in HighCohesion then? HighCohesion receives webhook data from the source system and then sends it directly to the transformation, as you can see in the small illustration below. Source system, we get the data we want directly from the web event. We transform it and then we post it at post-transformation to the destination system. So then let's take a closer look at the dynamic webhook instead. So when we would use a dynamic webhook, we would use dynamic webhooks for source systems where the webhook data is not the same as the data that we want to send to the destination system. So one example of this, for example, is Microsoft Dynamics. So how does it work in HighCohesion then? HighCohesion receives webhook data, usually an ID, that then trigger the source function as configured for the existing stream, and then pulls the complete payload in using the ID before sending it to the transformation. So you can see that in the illustration below, where we have the source system, for example, Microsoft Dynamics, is sending an ID to the source. The source is using that ID as a trigger to then also find the order data that we want, for example. We go back to the source system, fetch the full payload in, and then we send that to the transformation to then post it to the destination system post-transformation. This means that we're able to, with the static webhook, very easily cover the most commonly used platforms, such as Shopify, for example, and the ones that are slightly easier to use. But the dynamic webhooks also allows the platform to work with any platform that support web events. Hope this video was useful.